Hey guys, Vass here from Aussie RC Playground, and today we're going to be doing a bit of a comparison video between these four short course trucks. Now for those of you who haven't been following the channel, I've actually done unboxing videos for all of these, plus several running videos, and of course I've also done individual reviews for each and every one. But I thought it would be kind of a good idea, pretty much early on, to have a bit of a grand battle royale between all four of them, and just announce which one of these is actually my favorite short course truck out of the four that I've tested. Now, before we get started, I just want to say that in the video description of this video, there's actually going to be a link for each one of the reviews that I did for these trucks, in case you guys want to, check it out again if you've seen it before, or for those of you who haven't seen them at all, the links will be in there if you want to go check them out. Now, we're going to establish some price points first, just so you guys have an idea of what each and every one of these actually costs. I've got it laid out from cheapest being the Trooper to the dearest being the Slash. This guy comes from Hobby King for about $153 and some change, plus your postage. It comes remote ready, so you will need to get a remote for it, and you need batteries and all that sort of thing. And it's pretty much ready to go. The Tim Associated Pro-lite I bought from Tower Hobbies for $350, and this one comes pretty much ready to run. They give you a very nice little remote that you see here. They've also they give you a 7-cell nickel metal hydrate battery pack, which I believe is a 3000 milliamp. They don't give you a charger, but that's neither a good nor a bad thing, because let's face it, usually ready to run chargers are just a real cheap trickle chargers anyway, and they don't give you one in this one, so I don't think it's really a negative. But this does come, ready to go. This guy here I bought from Tower Hobbies as well. Owes me $250 as a roller only. So what that means is you need to buy all the electronics, so steering servo, motor, ESC, and of course remote. You're also going to need to cut and paint the body, and they give you tires and wheels that you're going to need to glue on. But my advice is actually don't glue the provided tires onto the wheels. They're actually pretty substandard. I would advise go get yourself a new set of tires, or perhaps even go and get a wheel and tire set. There's various different options out there. You can shop around and find something that suits you. Because as I said, the tires are pretty substandard. The way that I've got this guy set up, I think it's sitting around about the mid 400s. Mode in ESC is a Castle Sidewinder 2. So that, I think I paid around about $105, $110, somewhere around there. Steering servo is about $35, and then the remote. Well, when I did the testing, I actually had it connected to the FlySky GT3C that you see there. That's a 10 model memory remote, 3-channel. It's got a bunch of options on it, and the receivers for that remote are like under $10. So very cheap way to set up an RC when you've got multiple RCs like I do. Rather than always having to buy a new handset, you buy one that has a model memory, and then you just buy cheap receivers, and then there you go. It's a good way to get about it. As I said, the way I've got it, it's about mid 400s. The Traxxas Slash Ultimate owes me $650 from Tower Hobbies, plus postage and all of that. And this one is very much the ultimate truck. It comes 100% ready to run. Well, probably 99.9. They don't give you batteries for the receiver, so you're going to need I think 4 AA's for that one. But they give you a LiPo LiPo battery. They also give you a charger for the battery, and you get a bunch of spares, a pinion gear, center diff, bunch of aluminium upgrades. Very, very well equipped. Pretty much ready to go. So now that we've got that all out of the way, we're going to start off by rather than starting at the top, I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going to tell you which one is the least favorite out of these four, and I'm going to go straight to the Pro-lite. Now, this may surprise some people, but since I've actually done the review for these trucks, this guy has actually won Truck of the Year. Someone actually put a link up on Facebook, and of course tagged me in it because they'd seen my review of the truck. And I watched it. I've actually got the link for that video in this video description as well, so you guys can click on that anytime you want and go check that out. But yeah, it was like some sort of awards show, and they handed out a bunch of awards for best plane and best radio and best this, best that. And this guy here came out as Truck of the Year. which completely blew my mind as to how that actually came about. I don't know what they're compared against. I don't know who judged it specifically, but it won an award. I could not disagree more. I had nothing but trouble with this truck. I had poor part support. I had to do a lot of tuning on the truck. I had to rebuild the shocks. I had body post braking. I had spur gear stripping. I had problems with the steering. The chassis flexes very easily. It barely handles the awesome motor and ESC combo they've put in here. Yes, I did say awesome. This is the fastest truck out of all 4 of these out of the box. This one here is actually, I think I clocked it at just over 70 kilometers an hour. And let me tell you, that chassis is barely hanging on. The Slash is faster once you put the high-speed pinion gear in there, but out of the box, this was the fastest out of all of them, and it completely took me by surprise. But it was very, very difficult to drive, and it handled terribly out of the box. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you got to do to it. And I just had nothing but problems with the truck, and it left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. I mean, you can see behind me here, I've got a B4, a B4. I was going to say B4.1, but it's not. It's just a B4. I've had it since 2004. I bought that car. Bought it as a kit, put it together. I've had a couple of different motors in that as well, and I absolutely love that buggy. And I was expecting some sort of similar standard with a Tim associated truck like this. And of course, the SC10, I think it is a very popular truck which has received a lot of praise both by amateur and professional owners of the vehicle. And I was expecting something along those lines. I knew that this was going to be different, but I was expecting something along that sort of thing, and it just didn't deliver for me. It fell well short of the mark. And as I said, I had nothing but issues with it, and I just had a bad experience. And based on that experience, I can't rate the truck that highly, much less award it Truck of the Year, which is ridiculous. Now I know that there are other reviewers out there and other people that own this truck, and some of them actually enjoy it. They like it, and that's fine. I'm not disagreeing with anyone. I don't want to start any feuds. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, as I'm entitled to mine. But to me, this out of the 4 here, this comes last purely because I had so many dramas with it. It's just that simple. So moving on, the Turnigy Trooper takes out 3rd place for me. It may surprise some people, may not. But to me, this one here, you can buy 2 of these at the price of this. And I would buy 2 of these easily instead of buying 1 of these. This truck, for the money, and let me clarify and emphasize, for the $150 price tag, this truck delivers. It has its flaws. You can't expect this to compete with a Slash or even the Ofna for that matter for $150. It's never going to be that. It's never going to try and compete with that. What it offers is something that, for those who want to just try out the hobby, for those who just want maybe a spare RC, or for those who want to maybe give that to a kid such as I did. I bought this for my son who's turning 10 in a couple of months, and it was perfect for him. It had just the right speed. It performed just right for someone like him who's inexperienced and just wants to have a bit of a muck around. And even when I drove it, I actually enjoyed the truck. I think it handles reasonably well. You do need to do a little bit of tuning to it, but it's not $350. It's $150. You're going to expect some things not to be quite right. It would be amazing and absolutely out of this world if there was nothing that you could really complain about. But there are a few little nitty things that could be better. The shocks could be a lot better. I've heard people say that the foam insert is really just a sponge. It's not really even classified as a foam insert. It's just a soft spongy thing. And some people even complained about not having foam in the tires at all. So I certainly didn't have that problem. I think that the Turnigy Trooper actually performed for the money. It performed perfectly fine. The only thing that I can say about the Turnigy Trooper is that part support from Hobby King is a little bit iffy. They stock all the parts, but they don't always have them in stock. And one of the things that I've sort of, I think I covered this in the review, is, you know, when you order parts from Hobby King, because these parts are so cheap, it's stupendous how cheap some of the parts for this car actually are. Don't just order one, order half a dozen, and, you know, various different things. When I needed to buy, I think I needed some ball ends or something. I didn't just buy that, I bought a couple of packets of that, but I also bought some front and rear bumpers. I bought a couple other bits and pieces to make the most of the postage costs that they were charging. Hobby King actually do a very good job with their postage. They kind of have like thresholds, so you can load up your cart at a particular postage price, and then, you know, if you go over that, it goes into another threshold, and then you can load it up again. So they actually do a very good job with that, and that's really the only complaint, is just, you know, Hobby King really need to get their act together and make sure that they stock parts, not just for the Trooper, but for a lot of other cars. I'm pretty sure people out there who have Hobby King vehicles like Turnigy and so forth would agree that, you know, the part support, although they have them on their listing, they don't always have them in stock. So that is the Turnigy Trooper. Now we move on to these two here, and you know, obviously one of my favorite lies between these two. Now, before I actually give you my favorite, I'm just going to point out some of the good things and bad things I've found with these trucks. There's not a lot of bad stuff about the Slash that I'm going to point out to you, other than the price point. You know, $650 is by far and away the dearest out of all these. And the remote. I know some people would complain about the remote. Would criticize me for complaining about the remote, but you know, it does feel a little bit cheap. The whole telemetry thing, for me personally, I found it to be a bit of a novelty, and it kind of wore out rather quickly. Having the iPhone plugged into it added a bit of weight to the remote as well, which, you know, under long driving periods, it kind of makes it a little bit uncomfortable. It would have been nice if they just had the screen down the bottom, you know, just eliminate the weight of an additional device and just have a screen down there. Make it inbuilt. Or make it wireless, so that you don't have to have the phone plugged in here. I mean, every phone nowadays has got Bluetooth anyway, so it's just my opinion. But as far as the truck itself is concerned, spot on. I think Traxxas hit the nail on the head with this one. You know, the truck comes extremely well equipped. It's very tough. It handles brilliantly. It's fast. It actually flies through the air really well. Probably amongst the four, I would go as far as to say it jumps the best out of all of them. And, you know, most people would back me up on that. The Slash has been around for so long that, you know, it's hard to falter, especially now with the low center of gravity, which is what this one's got. It's an absolutely brilliant vehicle. But you need to pay for it. You need to, you know, dig deep in your pockets and drag out $650 at least to buy it from Tower Hobbies. I know that hobby shops will probably charge you more than that, and you know, you're going to get yourself a very good truck with absolutely second to none part support. You know, you can buy parts pretty much everywhere for this thing, online and at local hobby shops. There's a variety of different brands that do upgrades for them. Most commonly, you know, RPM. I think MIP do some of them as well. Intergy. The list goes on. So hard to falter the Slash. The Ofna is something that I was actually quite surprised with. As I said, the chassis is $250, and then of course the thing that I love about this truck is, from you know, an owner point of view, so from the individual's point of view, it's great that it allows you to customize it. Having the freedom to buy a roller at a $250 price point, which is brilliant. It's really good to have that sort of price point. If you have a look at some of the other rollers out there in other RCs, like 1/8 scale buggies or I don't know, other cars, you know, the prices are right up there, and even things like Team Durango have a really expensive rollers for this. Even Team Associated have the SC10, almost at double the price of the chassis of this truck. So to have that sort of price point is excellent, and then to have the truck itself perform at the level that it did, and in my opinion, it goes toe to toe with the Traxxas Slash for, you know, around about $200 cheaper. the way that I've got it set up anyway. I mean, obviously you can put much more expensive running gear in here and blow it out well beyond the price of the Slash. But will the durability be any better? Will part support be any better? Not really. So, you know, the one problem that I had with this truck is I had screws backing out from time to time. I found that I had to go through a lot of the screws on, especially underneath the chassis, around the bumpers and the bulkheads and the shock towers. Just go through some of the ones that sort of get a little bit of stress and may even have some moving parts. Take them out, put some Loctite on them, and put them back in. A little annoying, but it it eliminates a lot of headaches when you're actually out there running the truck and you lose a screw that just stops you from using the truck. But the biggest complaint really is the body has been more heavily damaged than any of the other ones. I mean, all of these have got dents and scratches and things like that, but this one has actually got severe cracks, and it's actually falling apart here at the rear. There's cracks all over the place, and the tires, as I said, are pretty ordinary. I mean, even the Turnigy Trooper, I know it's slower. It's the slowest truck out of all of these, but I actually found the tires on this to handle the power that they give you quite well. And the tires that they give you with the Ofna, I would have preferred if they just left them out. At least it would be one less thing that you hear me complain about. And the body as well, I would appreciate it if they did a better job with that, or again, leave it out. And it might actually drop the overall price of the kit. So how do we go about picking a winner out of these two? Before I forget, actually, part support for this, although I haven't had anything break on the truck, part support is not at its best. The couple of things that I did need, which was a hinge pin that popped out. Nothing broke, it just popped out, and unfortunately I lost it. I couldn't find it. I needed to buy another one, and I actually found it quite difficult to get that hinge pin. I did find it eventually on eBay, but I couldn't find it. At Towel Hobbies didn't have it, and I don't think A-Main had it either. I ended up finding, I think once I bought the Buggy 8, I ended up finding that the Ofna warehouse actually stocks a lot of the parts, or pretty much all the parts for their products. So that's probably the best place to find parts. But of course, it's just a shame that other retailers don't have parts for this particular truck. I have seen parts for Ofna products other than this, but for this truck, a little bit tough. So going back to picking a winner, I think to me, the Traxxas Slash delivered right on the money. You do pay for this truck, but it delivered exactly as advertised. There is no denying it that this truck is something that I'm absolutely in love with. It's not just a great short course truck, but a great RC in general. It is an excellent car to drive. It's an excellent car to own, knowing that you have the backup of all those parts and being able to pick them up pretty much wherever you like to shop, whether it be eBay or online stores or your local hobby shop. You should be able to find parts for this quite easily. As I said, it comes pretty well equipped, all the upgrades and everything else on there. Very strong truck, very durable, and as I said, brilliant truck to drive. But this is actually my favorite truck out of the four, and I know that having praised this just as I did to certainly favor this truck, it really comes down to the price difference. It's a $200 price difference roughly between this one and the one the way that I've got this guy set up, and that is a big deal. And having that extra $200 in your pocket, I can live with a couple of screws backing out and spending maybe 10 or 15 minutes taking them out, putting some Loctite, putting them back in. I can live with that. There is not a lot of tuning that I needed to do with this truck, thank God, not like with this one. So just adjust the spring rate to your liking, put some better tires on it, and away you go. The body, I mean, obviously, as I said, it's been trashed, but I have put more battery packs through this truck than any of the others. So in fairness, it's been driven more, it's been bashed a lot more, hence why the body has failed as badly as it has. But I can't get away from that price difference, and that and the fact that, you know, it goes basically, when it comes down to driving the vehicle, it goes basically toe to toe with the Slash, and I don't want to take anything away from that. I don't want to excuse me, I don't want to say that you know, the Slash is an inferior vehicle. I'm not saying that. I just favor this one because it just took me by surprise, and it all started with a $250 chassis, and that to me makes all the difference. And that's really why I favor this one, and that's why I've driven it more, and that's why it's got more wear and tear on it than any of the others. The body that you see here, I know that this is all shiny and everything. This is the original body that came with the truck. If you guys see the running videos, you know that I haven't been using this body. I've used one just like it, which is out of the platinum, which I painted myself. I just thought, you know, I'll bring this one out because the other one, there's nothing wrong with the other one, it's still fine. It's just, I thought I'll bring this one out because I haven't really put it up on any of my videos other than the unboxing. So I think I did it in the review as well. But that is pretty much my opinion and my view on it. Hopefully this wasn't too boring for you guys. Hopefully I've covered a lot of what I needed to cover with these trucks to justify my decision for picking the Ofna Nexx as my favorite one. But you know, just I don't want to take anything away from this because I do love this truck as well. But that's it. I'm leaving it here. If you guys like this video and it was useful to you, if you got some information out of it that maybe you didn't get out of the reviews, then, you know, make sure you crush that like button. If you thought that this was kind of meh, whatever, then, you know, hit the thumbs down button. At least it'll give me an idea of whether or not I should do more of these type of comparison videos in the future if I have multiples of the same RC. And you know, if you guys haven't subscribed already, make sure you do to catch up on all the videos that I've got up on the channel, and you know, stay tuned for more that I've got coming up. So with that, I'll leave you to it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you next time. Is about $650. Comes with a remote. Now this is a Slash Ultimate 2, by the way. This comes with the I knew I'd stuffed it up. I was doing so well.